Actuator.
Okay, what is up, everybody? It's been a long time no see. I've been all over TikTok. I haven't stopped TikToking. I've still got like 5 videos a day over there, but YouTube was going good and then to a screeching halt, right? Well, the reason for that is, and there is a reason, I think it's an okay reason. I had phone issues. So I use my phone to record all my videos and everything like that. I don't have like a special camera or anything. Well, I guess this iPhone camera I have now is pretty special. But the problem is due to TikTok, it was taking up like 100 gigs of my space. I didn't know that was like gonna happen. And it made my phone so full to the point where I could no longer take a picture. Like my girlfriend's like, hey Chris, let's take a picture. I'm like, babe, I can't. My phone's full. And like I would delete so much stuff off that phone, but to no avail. So obviously recording 10-minute videos for YouTube, which actually there's 15-minute videos that I whittled down to 10 because I mess up a lot because I'm new to this. Now that was challenging, but I got a new phone. So we're back. And you guys have been really cool on YouTube. You've stuck around, you've left comments on what you want to see, and this is something somebody asked for I have right here. And today we are going to talk about talking surveys with customers. As a service advisor, that's one of the #1 things we focus on is that survey. Now, I have worked in dealerships that didn't require surveys at all. They didn't care. I could get 5-star, no star, it didn't matter. They cared about this right here, money. And I've worked in dealerships where surveys were so important you would lose your job if you didn't get enough or if you didn't get any good ones. So it really depends on where you're working, but surveys are something, and I've always said this, even if you're not getting paid for them, you should strive for good surveys. Because if you strive for good surveys, you're striving for good customer service. And if you strive for good customer service, you're gonna strive for those sales. And depending on what you get paid for, commission-wise, if it's sales or customer service, if you always aim at customer service, the sales will take care of themselves. So even if you're a service advisor who's not paid off of anything that has to do with surveys, if you follow along with this guide, the asking for surveys part won't apply, but the rest of it, the customer service part, it's gonna help you out. So surveys are just so important, yet they're so painfully awkward. And they're important because of all the reasons we talked about. It's good customer service, you might get paid off of those. You know, surveys run the world now. You look up like Chinese food or Mexican food or whatever you're hungry for tonight, you're not gonna go to the place that has 2 Google stars. Even if it's the first one on the map, even if it's next door, you're always gonna go find that one that's got at least 4 stars or better that has good Google reviews. And you know what? You might go there and it could be the worst place you ever ate at, but you go there just because of the Google reviews, while the good place didn't have any Google reviews. And that's unfortunate for businesses because surveys have really taken over the map, because anymore we can just get instant reviews from people about places. We don't even try new things anymore. But I digress on that. So why are surveys so important other than that for a service advisor? Well, we already talked about it at the beginning of the video. It's pay. You know, I've worked in dealerships that paid me X amount of dollars for every 5-star. I've worked in dealerships that gave me kickbacks once I got above some sort of average with my surveys. And I've worked in dealerships that just gave me an extra percentage on my sales numbers if I achieved a certain level of surveys. So obviously, if you're being paid off of your surveys, that's very, very important to you. Now, another thing is, they're also very, very awkward. Why are they awkward? Well, surveys have a lot to do with customer interaction, which can be awkward. And when you're getting to the point of a survey, you're gonna have to mention to that customer, will you please fill out this survey? We've all had this pitch to us. I just went to Books A Million the other day, and he's like circling things on the receipt, fill out the survey, get $3 back, and it's just like, I don't want that. You know what I mean? You don't wanna listen to all that. Nobody plans on filling out these surveys. So surveys can be very, very awkward in nature. So the difficult part is if you are paid off of your surveys, or if you're striving for customer success or customer service, you're gonna have to ask for those surveys, which can be a very awkward conversation unless you find a really good way to pitch it. I think I found a really good way. The thing with surveys, especially in a dealership setting, is every service advisor is gonna talk about it. I can't control any of that. What are things customers are gonna say are bad on a survey? They're gonna say my car wash wasn't good. The repair didn't hold up. There was smudge marks on the inside of my vehicle. You know, all these different things that the customer is going to be upset about is things that the service advisor can't control. You know, my parts didn't come in on time. The service advisor has no control over any of those things, but in a dealership especially, the service advisor is held responsible for that survey. So even if something goes wrong with something the service advisor can't control, the service advisor is the one that's going to take the hit straight on the chin. And if you get paid off of those surveys, you're going to take it in the wallet as well, which We want to definitely avoid that. So what we can do about surveys is when you pitch the survey or when you talk surveys with the customer, you got to make that survey about you and you alone as a service advisor. Now, I know that the survey is going to ask the customer how the coffee was, or was your repair done on time, and all that stuff. But you have to be straight up with the customer and say, listen, I know the survey is going to, give you some options about these other things here, but at the end of the day, that 5-star rating is totally about me and how I interacted with you. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't have to make sense, but that's how this really works. So when you use that survey, I need you to give that rating about me, about the interaction I had with you. I'm sorry your parts weren't on time. I'm sorry that, the repair didn't last. I'm sorry that you had to come back. I'm sorry that we reset your radio. I'm sorry that your seat wasn't returned. I'm sorry that your car wash wasn't up to standard, and I apologize for all that. But in the meantime, my communication with you, my ability to call you back, text you back, the expectations I set for you, I hope that those were good. And if they were good, I hope that you can rate me properly in a survey. So that's really how you want to present it. When you're selling a survey, you're selling yourself. You know why we sell it that way? Because you are the only thing in the dealership that you control as a service advisor. That's it. You can't control anything else. So as long as you make sure that your customer service is right on the money, you can definitely get a good survey out of that customer because you're building rapport. If you build a rapport with your customer and you become their friend, not just their service advisor, but their friend, how's everything going at the home? I love your dog, that sort of thing. What the customer's gonna end up doing is, I don't wanna mess up Chris. I don't wanna mess up so-and-so. I wanna take care of them. And then you can talk about the comment section and all the stuff that you can fix for them, and maybe have them talk to whoever, or whatever you gotta do. Just be the hero. That's the basic lesson at the end of the day. Now, I have worked with a lot of service advisors that will not ask the customer to fill out a survey. And I've worked with a lot of service advisors that will ask the customer to fill out a survey. What is the right path? Now, I have subscribed to both paths. So luckily, I've experienced what both things brought back to me. And at the end of the day, if the customer is leaving and you haven't asked for the survey and you're thinking in your mind, I hope the survey doesn't get sent, or I hope the customer doesn't fill out the survey. If that's what you're thinking, you're the problem. Because you didn't set proper expectations, you didn't properly talk to the customer, you let the transaction end on a shaky spot where you don't know if that customer is going to come back. And repeat business is really what keeps these shops alive. That customer relation, that's your responsibility as a service advisor. You are a customer service representative. That is your primary function, is to satisfy your customers. And if they're walking away and you're thinking to yourself, I really hope they don't fill out a survey, that's 100% on you, and that's something you're going to have to fix in your own craft. Once you're up to the point where you're hoping that they fill out the survey, how do you get them to fill it out? We all know that customers typically only fill out surveys when they're upset and angry. Why is that? Well, that's because the emotions are high. I'm going to get them. They go home and hit the keyboard up. Go to my TikTok. Y'all go to my TikTok right now, and you will see the keyboard warriors. Oh, they exist. Not all of y'all. Y'all are really, really cool. I love all y'all. But anyways, whenever people are upset, they are much more apt to open up their phone, open up their laptop, go into the website, go into their email, and start clicking away in that survey. I am going to get Chris so good for what he said to me. But if the customer's happy and they're already satisfied and they have no reason to go back to that adventure that they had in the dealership, what's going to make them open their phone? What's going to make them open their laptop and fill out that survey? If you didn't ask the customer to fill out the survey, the customer won't think the survey is important to you. That's the simple fact. You have to educate the customer on the importance of filling out that survey. So how do you do it? How do you ask for the survey? What do? Do we get to the end of the transaction and say, hey, you might get a survey, can you please fill it out? Or, hey, don't forget to fill out that survey. It can be an awkward conversation, but what you need to do is you need to pitch it to them something like this. This is what I use personally. Feel free to use this. This is not the end all be all. You're gonna have to try it out yourself. The key is to get into something you can do repetitively, so it's like clockwork. A lot of people used to say when they hear me on the phone or talking to customers, it just sounded like clockwork, like I was on autopilot. And a lot of times I really felt that way because I was just regurgitating the same things over and over because they work. So what did I do to pitch the survey to the customer? Once I got done with the transaction, once the card was swiped, once the invoicing was ready, I'm about to slide the invoice to the customer and hand them their keys. But before I do, I set it on my desk in front of me and I say, listen, before I give you your paperwork, before I give you your keys, before you leave, is there any reason under the sun that if you were to receive an email that has a survey to rate my performance, is there any reason under the sun you can't give me a top rating? And just look them in your eyes and ask that question. A lot of times they'll say, no, you've been great. There's no reason at all. And that's when you go into, well, listen, you're probably gonna get a survey 1 to 2 weeks from now. That survey is gonna ask you some questions. It's gonna talk about your service with the technician. It's gonna ask you about parts, if everything was on time. I know we had some issues here and there, but I was there communicating with you the whole way through. Please understand, I can't control any of those things. And even though it asks those questions that I can't control, that survey is there for me and me alone. That's what my superiors are gonna use to rate my performance. So if you are satisfied with the amount of service I was giving you, the customer service ability that I have, and you want me to stay in this position, definitely please give me a good rating on that. It helps me out more than you know. If you pitch it some way like that, that makes that connection with the customer that says, we're on a team now. This is my service advisor. And they have that security that I know that if my car goes bad, Chris or service advisor so-and-so is gonna take care of me. And in return, I'm gonna take care of Chris and so-and-so. Because if you build that relationship, they're gonna have an emotional vested interest to go in there, fill that survey out, take care of you as a service advisor. So that's basically it in a nutshell. This is a really quick and easy method that I found that worked with my customers. It's just not really hold the vehicle hostage, but before we set that little final thing in motion, you turn to the customer and say, hey, if you like me, can you fill out the survey? Is there any reason you can't? That's an important question. And what if the customer turns around and says, well, honestly, I'm pretty upset about, whatever they might say. Now that's a rare instance. A lot of times a customer is not gonna have it in them to look at you in the eye and say something they didn't like. But if they do, that's perfect. Smile and say, I'm so happy you told me that and I'm so sorry that bothered you. Let's fix it right now. And yeah, the transaction's over, whatever it is, maybe they want some money back. Give them a small little refund if that's what they want, or get their car washed a second time, get them your business card, write down 1 free oil change on it, give it whatever they need in that moment. Say, listen, I am here to satisfy you. I can't let you leave this store if it wasn't a 5-star service. It's not in me to do that. I'm not programmed that way. And you have to completely satisfy that customer. You have to completely make that customer feel like they're in control, that they're respected, and that they feel important. And if you are letting that customer leave with a 4-star or 3-star mindset, you're definitely failing in that mission. So it's not an easy thing to do, guys. It's really, really not. To talk about these surveys, to get paid off these surveys. I've heard service advisors tell me that surveys are like a roulette wheel. You're like rolling the dice, you're throwing it in there, it's like a casino. You have no idea what you're gonna get back. I never subscribed to that. Now you're gonna get some curveballs. You're gonna have some customers look you square in the eye and say, I'm gonna give you 5 stars, turn around, give you 1 star, and never return a call. It's gonna happen. It's part of the business. But if you follow this format or a format close to this, something that gets you in the mindset of satisfied customers, ask for the survey, make sure they're happy when they leave. If you follow that basic little bit of just guidance, trust me, even those curveballs you're gonna get, they're not gonna outweigh the amount of good surveys you get back. And what's gonna happen is these customers are gonna be so happy to work with you that you are the only one that they're gonna go see. I used to have customers would wait, they could get an appointment tomorrow. They would wait a week just for me. If you satisfy your customers at that point, you're gonna have this constant revenue. Think of yourself as your own little independent contractor within this establishment because customers only wanna work with you. No customer wants to work with somebody different with their car every time they do anything with their car. They want that person they can trust, that person they have a direct rapport line with, and I know this person's gonna get me taken care of. Nobody wants a stranger hopping in their car. It's just not comfortable. Make them feel part of your family, make them feel part of your friend group. How's everything, how's the kids? Get to know your customers, get that rapport built up, and the surveys and the customer service will take care of itself. And trust me, if you're not paid off surveys, you're gonna get paid off surveys because your percentages are gonna show it. Guys, I hope this video was helpful. Please comment down below. I know that the YouTube format for me is still, I'm working it in, but we're gonna get there. I think I've had really good success with you guys so far. We're up to like 365 subscribers. I can't thank you all enough. Tell your friends about me. Comment on my TikToks about it if you haven't followed me on TikTok. I got like Facebook, I got Instagram, I got all the stuff, right? But really, this is where I'm really trying to grow right now in my current focus. So for those of you clocking in and checking this out for me, I really, really appreciate it. Comment down below what you'd like to see next time. Any critiques you have for me, I take criticism really, really well. You have to if you're on social media, but I am here to help you all. I know that there is a training gap in this industry, and I want to do my best to bring you guys up to speed and get you where you need to go and be successful and happy and all those good things. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.